What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 30 of Saturday Movie Night. You might be thinking, what is Saturday Movie Night? Well, if you're watching after the fact, you are not watching the live broadcast. Saturday Movie Night is exclusive to my level number 2 and 3 patrons on my Patreon. Now, if you want to be part of the group that votes on which movie I get to watch, because see, how this works is once a month in the week leading up to Saturday Movie Night, which is usually the last Saturday of every month, what I do is I put up a poll of 6 movies, and my level 3 patrons get to vote on which movie I get to watch. So if you want to get in on the voting process, you got to be part of level number 3. However, if you are part of level number 2, then you can also join in and watch live. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to check out my Patreon in the link below. And then, of course, it's live to level 2 and 3, but it goes up onto my channel for everybody to watch after the fact anyway. So we'll see who rolls on in. I put up several movies like Scanners and The Stepfather and Cujo, and there was quite a good list, I thought. And Cujo won. Cujo, The Prowler was on there too. I was kind of pulling for The Prowler. But Cujo won, 1983, Stephen King classic. That's the movie we are watching tonight. So if you want to watch along with me, please feel free to do so. I have Cujo. I am watching it off YouTube for free. I am paused 3 seconds in with the title, The Taft Entertainment Company Presents. The Taft Entertainment Company Presents. That's where I am watching this. And I'm looking forward to seeing this because I haven't seen it in quite a while. So this should be good. Frank Riker is here. Cody Snyder is here as well. Good to see you guys here. Nice to see you. My apologies for being a little late today. I was supposed to go on at 7, and then I was backed up with Bruce with a couple of things, and then so I pushed it to 8, and then I was all set to go on at 8, and we had a huge thunderstorm here, massive thunderstorm, knocked the power out for like 45 minutes. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to get on, but here I am. I'm on, and that's all that matters. All right, here we go. This is 1983's Cujo in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen this movie. I'm excited to watch this. Dee Wallace in Cujo. I love it. Cody Snyder said, Frank, you got him? Mine's buffering. Oh, is yours buffering? Try refreshing. Try refreshing the page, Cody, because the stream says it's perfect. It says excellent condition for the stream. So we should be okay. We should be okay. Let me get back to the movie here. No, look at this bunny rabbit. Yeah, Cujo was cool because, you know, a lot of this movie obviously takes place in a car. With the boy from, what's his face? The boy from Who's the Boss? That's how I always know him. The boy from Who's the Boss. I love how we open this movie on a nice, innocent bunny rabbit. Oh, Jan de Bont. Jan de Bont is director of photography on this movie. I did not know that. Of course, Jan de Bont went on to become a director himself, directing movies like, I think he directed Speed, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm mistaken. Oh, really thirsty. There it is. The St. Bernard Cujo. Oh my God. Thought the dog actually got it there for a second. Oh, this is where the dog wait a minute. Because I totally forget. It's been a long time. Is this where the dog gets rabies? Like it bites the rabbit because the rabbit was rabid? No pun intended. Son of a bitch. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. It's probably been 15 years since I've seen this movie. It's been a while. No, he's got to get it from something else. Like a rabid I think the rabbit is symbolism of you know, rabid, rabbit, innocent, sweet. It's got to get into something else. Oh yeah, it gets his head. That's hilarious. Okay, a cave would not be that echoey. Underground. Oh, the bats, of course, the bats. That's right. The bats. Look at these rabid bats. You kind of feel bad for Cujo in a way, don't you? Because, I mean, it's not his fault. And, of course, he becomes like this evil dog. Ooh. Oh, I actually, you know what? I look at these bats. Are those real bats? Are those fake? I actually feel bad for the dog right now. It's not the dog's fault. Like somehow, in some weird way, I almost feel like I'd be more empathetic or sympathetic if some spiritual entity or spiritual being took over the dog. No, sorry. I'd be more like forgiving, more like, yeah, get that fucking dog. You know what I mean? If the dog in and of itself was evil, you know, but the dog's really not evil. The dog is just, it got bit by a rabid bat. Poor dog. Not that, you know, I mean, obviously you got to do what you got to do. You can't let the dog, you know, the dog doesn't, you know, he's not himself. What the hell was the name of this kid on Who's the Boss? Tim? Tommy? No. Steven? Sam? No, Sam was Alyssa Milano's character. Samantha. What the hell was this kid's name on Who's the Boss? I used to watch Who's the Boss all the time. Loved Who's the Boss. This was maybe a year or two before Who's the Boss. I think Who's the Boss was 84 or 5. Anybody ever do that when you were a kid? You would turn off the light and then you'd run to your bed? Cody Snyder says, what about Max from Man's Best Friend? Max from Man's Best Friend? Man's Best Friend, is that a horror movie or a movie? I don't know if I'm familiar with that one, Cody. Unless I'm having a major brain fart here. Some good theater of the mind right there. I like it, looking deep into the closet. Dee Wallace. Yeah, Dee Wallace became quite the scream queen. Could you consider Dee Wallace a scream queen? I think you actually could. You know, I mean, she's done a lot of horror movies. She really has. Look at this guy. Tad. You just call the kid Tad? Is that his name? I wonder if that was on purpose. Or if he just went with it. He shut the door and then the door opened again and he just improvised and went with it. Kind of feels like that would have been that. Can you imagine this movie if this kid ate it? Like he got eaten by the dog. The dog's like, started biting his flesh and blood's flying everywhere. It's like, holy shit. Frank Reiger says, I believe Cujo symbolized society's anger towards Dee Wallace with her infidelity. Perhaps. That might be another layer in the film version here. It is. His name's Tad. Tad. Who names their fucking kid Tad? Then again, didn't Gwyneth Paltrow name her kid like Olive or something? Or no? Apple? No. I don't know. Could be Fred. It could be Frank Zappa. Fred Zappa? Frank Zappa? Moon Unit? He named one of his kids Moon Unit. Moon Unit. What is that? What kind of name is that? Moon Unit? Yeah, Cody says kind of a harsh lesson. I think so. This guy just loves walking around topless. Well, kid, you're gonna fucking get it now. This kid's just, yeah. I just noticed my my thing is off. It should be like this. There we go. That's how it should be. That's probably more appealing. There we go. I don't know what happened there. But that's normally how I have it. I don't know. Who do you think it was, dick face? No, I don't know. Dee Wallace. What are some of the horror movies she's been in? Let's check it out. I can think of about 4. Some people might consider E.T. a horror movie. So she was in, let's go all the way back. Let's go back to the days. The days. Holy shit, she's been in a ton of shit. So she was in, like, let's see here. I don't, it's the Chips, Taxis. What was the Howling? She was in The Howling. Yeah. E.T., of course. Cujo. Yeah. Critters. Yeah. Okay, so not as many as I thought. I thought she was in, well, there are others that you could consider. Interesting. Frank says, one of the dogs bit Dee's stunt woman's nose off after she got excited with a take they got right. The dog was trained to lunge at her and took her excitement as a command. I did not know that. Fascinating. I had always heard, I think there was an accident on this set. Maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. That's brutal. Did they put the dog down? I hope not. Has Dee always had short hair? Anybody know? I wonder what she would look like with longer hair. Anybody a tennis player here? If you're watching after the fact, comment below. Let me know. You play tennis? You like tennis? I didn't mind tennis. I played it a couple of times. It's definitely a skill. Wait a minute. Wait a sec. Why? Oh, right. Right. So who do you think is the better man? Do you think it's this guy or do you think it's the other guy? Is she carrying around her panties? She is. It's not good. It's not good. 7 dogs were used with 1 mechanical and 1 suit. Fascinating. Thank you, Frank. Yeah. Obviously, yeah, you'd use a couple of dogs. 1 mechanical dog. I think you can tell when the mechanical dog's being used too, if memory serves. Again, it's been a while since I've seen. I own this movie. I own it on VHS. I own it on DVD too. I don't know if I own it on Blu-ray though. Maybe this is in the same universe as E.T. Maybe it is. Maybe Cujo is in the same universe. It's because you're a bitch. That's why. Bitch. Do any couples actually think that's the right thing to do? Like if your relationship is in a difficult bind, couples go through ups and downs. I don't believe, look, I don't have kids, but I don't believe the solution is having another child. I can intellectualize and understand why couples would think that, getting pregnant and the whole idea of, the bond that you share of bringing another child into the world and the fact that you have to bond in a sexual way to make a kid. I mean, I get all it. I get all of that, but I just don't think that's the answer at all. I don't think there's any evidence that would suggest that that's the right thing to do. Because eventually that kid is going to, even if by some miracle it does bring you closer together at first, if all the issues that are causing a rift are not dealt with and not solved, they're only going to rear their ugly heads again once the kid is old enough where kind of the novelty's worn. I hate to say that, but once the kid hits 3 or I don't know, a year, and the novelty of having another kid and the reality of having an extra kid sets in, you're just going to be back to square one. So deal with your fucking shit first, then have a kid. This has been Life Advice with Dave McRae. Sperm bank. Yeah, that's right. Do the sperm bank situation too. Look at this car this guy's driving. Cujo. Now there's a new name in terror. Cujo. Cujo. Jonathan. That was the kid's name in Who's the Boss, right? Jonathan? I think that's what his name was. This kid when he was in Who's the Boss. Sam was Alyssa Milano and he was Jonathan. I'm pretty sure. Cody Snyder says Joe Camber is better than both. Who's Joe Camber? Maybe I'm having a huge braid fart. I don't know what movie you're talking about. Or maybe I'm just lost. My apologies, Cody. Help me out. Fill me in. How old is Dee Wallace here? How old's Dee Wallace? Dee Wallace. D. Oh, she's born in 48. So she's 30. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she's 34, 35 here. Okay. So she's 73 years old now. She looks good. She's aged gracefully. Of course, she was in Rob Zombie's Halloween as well. There's the dog. The dog. I love how the dog obviously gets more rabid as the movie goes on with the jowls and the all that shit. I don't think I could have a Saint Bernard. If I had a place, oh look, you can see the fucking thing there. Oh, poor dog. No, if I got another dog, retrievers are great. German Shepherds, I think, are great. I'd love a German Shepherd. Call it like Saber. Nice big German Shepherd. When you come to the door, he looks at you like he's going to fucking kill you, but he's just a fucking sweetheart. One of those big German Shepherd heads, you know? It'd be great. I don't think I'd get a St. Bernard. They're quite big and jowly. Like Beethoven, like the movie Beethoven. Oh, he was in The Howling with her. Okay, I haven't seen The Howling in years, so I'm just fucking lost, guys. I don't. There's a lot of horror movies that I just don't remember. I haven't seen in a long time. And then when you start talking about them and then you mention the title, I'm like, oh, okay, right. Like Fright Night, the last Saturday movie night. I think I mentioned this when we were watching it. I hadn't seen it in like since the 90s, I think. Been years since I had seen Fright Night. So there's a lot of movies, a lot of those classics that maybe you guys watch on the regular that I just haven't seen in, well, sometimes decades. It's not that I think they're bad or whatever. I just haven't watched them in a long time. You know what I mean? Cujo's one. Cujo's at least 10 or 15, at least maybe 15 years. I always liked it though. I thought it was fun. Pet Sematary is another one that I watched not that long ago. Like sometimes these Saturday movie nights are cool because I'm revisiting movies that I do like that I haven't seen in a long time. So that's actually kind of cool, you know? KCGV TV. Frank Greger says, as someone who deals with rabies, they went a little overboard. Oh, yeah, that's right, Frank. Dude, that's right. I forgot about your job, of course. Of course. They went a little overboard. That's interesting to know. Did they? So, like, in a rabid dog, for instance, Frank, is it really like, can they get that crazy and demented? Or is that sort of, that's the sensationalism of movies? Or maybe it depends on the breed of the dog. Maybe every situation is different, right? I forgot about your job like that. Yeah, there's no doubt you would have seen a ton of shit. They were actually married until his death. Reese Wilson, my man. Reese Wilson is here. Good to see you, Reese. It's got to be like, I don't know, 11 o'clock in the morning where you are. 8:30 p.m. here. A little bit of a later start today. Like I said, I planned to start at 7, but Bruce and I were busy. And then I was going to start at 8. I guess I started not too long after 8, 8:10 or whatever. But the power went out. There was a big storm here, so. We had a lot of rain fall in like a really short period of time. Like you could see the roads were like puddles and shit. It wouldn't surprise me if I turned on the 11 o'clock news tonight and there was actually some flooding somewhere. And of course, my studio's in my basement, so I'm like rushing down here trying to make sure that there's nothing that's, you know, flooding because it came down really fast. You can actually hear him yelling on the phone. That's great. I'm surprised they haven't, well, maybe I'm not surprised in some ways. I was going to say I'm surprised they haven't remade Cujo, but I'm not surprised in some ways either. You know what I mean? Frank says they can get either aggressive or dopey. Oh, fascinating. Fascinating. He's so cute though. Isn't he cute? And St. Bernards, I believe by nature are, don't quote me on this, I'm not a dog expert, but I believe St. Bernards are generally pretty docile, like pretty nice, like a nice breed. Maybe that's why they chose it, or why Stephen. Was it a St. Bernard in the book as well? Another dog you could have chosen that would have been like, the contrast would have been like a retriever or something, because retrievers are so cute and so friendly. That's my next car right here. I'm getting this fucking car. Just start driving it around everywhere. Reese says, I've got 2 sausage dogs. Oh my God, sausage dogs are so cute. My girlfriend loves sausage dogs. I'd like to see a Cujo remake with a sausage. Might be too cute though. Oh my God, that'd be adorable. Or like a chihuahua. Oh man, how could you take it seriously? You're right. I think I think you're right, Frank. I think this the subtext of this movie really is Cujo payback for her infidelity. Here I am screwing around with the local stud. He's a hell of a stud. He's sexy. He's fucking sexy. He's one sexy son of a bitch. Whatever you want, man. He's one sexy mother foe. Kind of looks like Chuck Norris a bit. Frank Riker says they rescue people in the Alps with those whiskey barrels under their chin. Oh, now you know he means business. He throws on his jeans, but no shirt. Oh, he sees it. He sees it. Uh-oh. All hell's going to break loose. I forget genuinely what happens here. That car's bumper was like falling off. Are they gone when he pulls around the corner? Because enough time went by for that to take place. I totally believe if they were gone. Yeah, they are gone. Yeah, I'd buy that. Yeah, I'd buy that. I'd buy enough time went by. Wonder where they shot this. This looks like, obviously it could be anywhere in the Midwest in the States. Totally looks like it could be around here too. I doubt they shot up here. But this is what rural Ontario looks like. Pac-Man. He's got a Pac-Man lunchbox. Got the hit by a swing. Here's a cute kid. I think this kid grew up. I think he's gay, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I think he came out. I can't remember if he came out when he was on Who's the Boss or not. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he's a gay man. Your car's falling apart. Frank says oh yeah, I already read that. I already read that, Frank. Write something new, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. By the way, I watched you and Darren's most shocking moments the other day. Great stuff. Those are some pretty shocking moments. There's a lot of good shocking moments in movies. This is when she's going. This is when he's going to approach her. Honey, I saw you. I could have sworn I saw you talking to some guy. Oh, in California, that's where it was shot. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that the town where they were looked very kind of Midwesty, but this looks very California, right? Like a lot of the browns. Certainly when they go to the farm or wherever the house, there's a lot of browns. But where he was at school, if they had said that was like around here, I'd buy that. But now it looks very California. Which makes sense, especially back then. I love that. Look at the steam or the fog or whatever. Oh, he's getting more. Aw, look at it. He's so cute. Because it's cute because obviously he's really not that way, and they would have had to have put like little things on him. They probably put like KY jelly or something under his eyes to make it look more wet and gooey and shit. And And the all that would have been added in post. I'd imagine anyway. I doubt he's a vicious Saint Bernard. Yeah, like the sound here is just going on. You know, you just add that in post. They would have definitely slowed down his movements too. And in post, they would have probably dropped the frames. Not dropped the frames, but, well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Just had him move a bit slower, you know, a bit more like he's heavier now. He's feeling it. Yeah, look at the shit they put on him, right? All the goo. This guy's a fucking abusive piece of shit. It's abusive. It's totally abusive. Frank says, doesn't every setting take place in Castle Rock? Yeah. Or Derry, Maine. In Derry, Maine. And every phone number begins with 555. Yep. Yeah, that's a Hollywood thing. I have seen films and shows. I have seen films and shows where that isn't the case. But certainly a long time ago and back in the day, yeah, they would use 555 because there is no phone number that begins with 555. So it was just a Hollywood phone number. It was easy to do, obviously, for obvious reasons. That way you're actually not giving out somebody's phone number. One of the things that I always, and I think there is a reason for it, and I don't understand it. I just don't, is when somebody is on a phone and they don't say goodbye. They just hang up. Now, sometimes, depending on what the urgency is of the scene, it would call for that, right? Like it depending on what the conversation is and the urgency for the, you know, whatever is happening, right? Sometimes it makes sense that you would just hang up and not say goodbye because you're in a rush or it's like an action scene or you know, or whatever. But there's every movie I watch, you know, it's without fail. There's a you know, a moment or a scene where they're just chatting on the phone and they just hang up. I'm just like, why don't you say goodbye? It doesn't take that much more screen, you know. Happens all the time. You couldn't sick that dog on me if I was coming at you with a straight razor in each hand. Well, you know what's going to happen now. Frank Riker says, in the book, Cujo was supernatural, I believe. Really? I've never read the book. Is that true? Was he not bitten by like a rabid bat? Was he not rabid? So was Cujo not like rabid? Is that the right word? I think it is. In the book, was it like a supernatural dog? I guess I could look this up on my own, couldn't I? It's not being lazy. Maybe that was a change they made for the book. I don't know. I've never read any of the book. I don't fucking read books. To this day, I don't think I've ever read a book cover to cover. I don't know what it is. I just never was a big reader. I can read, that's not true. I've read biography, like factual stuff, like, you know, I can read that stuff, but I've never read like fiction cover to cover, like a novel, a story, you know, like a narrative story. I don't know. I don't have, and it's ironic, obviously, being into movies and being a filmmaker and into that kind of stuff. And it's not that I couldn't or wouldn't. I just don't generally, I never really did growing up. He's got to say the name of his car. You think you can beat me to the Jaguar? I think he said Jaguar. Pretty sure it's Jaguar, not Jaguar. Anyway, he says the name of his car. Like, how much of a pretentious, arrogant, superficial douchebag can you be? Like, wouldn't you just say, "Can you beat me to the car?" No, he's got to say the name of his car. Like, do you think if it was a fucking Toyota Camry, he'd say, "Can you beat me to the Camry?" Can you beat me to the Buick? No, it's because it's a nice car. So he's got to get that name in there. Hey, Darren's made his way. Darren, it must be really late where you are. Good morning is right. I think it's, what is it, like 1:45 in the morning there? Nice of you to join us at the very least, just to say hello. Totally understandable if you have to hit the hay, as they say. We're watching Cujo, and we're, 33 minutes into the movie. Oh, we're getting a little bit of side cheek of Dee Wallace. This guy shouldn't have come over. I'm going to call him Chuck Norris. Oh, that's right. They just got home. That's right. He knows. What was in that glass anyway? Look at those lapels on this guy's jacket. Kind of looks like Donald Pleasant's lapels on... Yes or no, yeah. Way to go, D. You fucked that up. Hey, Cody, Reese, Dave, and Frank. Oh, what do you got here? Something, there's a link. Let me check this out. Oh, yes. Yes, there's the suit. That's right. That's right. And I think I know when this is. Because there's a few moments in this movie where you notice, you do notice it. The difference between the suit, the mechanical, and the real dog, obviously. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for bringing that up, Darren. Appreciate that. This guy kind of looks like a little bit, David Hasselhoff. Just a little bit. Don't you think? He just kind of has that David Hasselhoff vibe, sort of. It's this one here. That's great. That's great. I love it. Look at the size of his head. The Cujo head. That's great. That's hilarious. That's awesome. That's a great behind the scenes one. Frank says, after reading the book, people theorize that Cujo was possessed by Frank Dodd, the serial killer from the Dead Zone. Fascinating. Thinking it's all there. Reese says that might be the OG Fury cosplay. Yeah, a furry cosplay. No, you can't. Oh, that's actually really pretty wherever they are. So a lot of human drama, of course, that, is around this. It's not just about a rabid dog and, Dee Wallace and her kid. I mean, obviously there's quite a bit of character development. The monster words for Tad. Again, what kind of fucking name is Tad? I would never name my child Tad. Kind of sounds like Gad or Dad. Chad. Why don't you just name him Chad? Oh yeah, now we're talking my scene right here. All the fog. Early morning fog. This is great. This is a great moment. I love the fog. Early morning stuff. I think it's early morning. The kid comes out. It's like basted in fog. There's a lot of fog. that's great shit. Sorry, I'm getting lost in this. This is great stuff. This is when I think he first notices that there's a little something wrong with the Cujo-meister. The Cujo-meister. There he is. Look at them all. Look at him now. Look at the drool and the jowls. The drool coming off his jowls. It's over, kid. You're done. Take it easy, boy. He ain't gonna take it easy anymore. It's over. Oh, there's a little bit of synth. There's a little bit of synth shit in here. Yep. Bum 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 bum. I like that. He didn't take him down. Dog didn't take him down. We still haven't had our first death in the movie yet. Cody Snyder says, Rabid Cujo versus Rabid Yeller. Who wins? I'm going with Cujo. I'm going with Cujo. I probably shouldn't say it like that. Sounds like I'm saying coochie. Cujo. Now give David Hasselhoff a kiss. He's got a little bit of the he's got a little bit of the Hoff vibe. It's the hair. See ya. Vic! What do you want, bitch? There's some drama right here, folks. Take off, Vic. It's refreshing role reversal, too, because obviously, stereotypically, it's usually the man in that position, where it's the man that's, cheating or, whatever. So, I mean, it's a nice role reversal in that. I don't mean nice in that way, but I just mean it's, not really common in storytelling. I saw him this morning in the fog. In the fog. Frank says drooling is a symptom of rabies because the throat tightens where the mouth overproduces saliva to help it in swallowing, which it can't. Fascinating. Thank you. This is great stuff, Frank. I didn't know this. Frank, what would be your I mean, you don't have to tell us, where you work or anything, but what would be the title of your job, your position? For those of you that are maybe currently watching or watching after the fact, or if you don't want to tell anybody, you're obviously free not to tell anybody either. But I respect what you do, and it's a very important job, and a job that I mean, it helps animals, man, and helps people too at the same time. So, Frank says I got to stop mixing work with this movie. No, it's cool. Like that's my point. Is that I find it really cool because of what you do for a living. It's cool to hear your thoughts on certain things. You know what I mean? Like what it probably is as compared to what sort of the sake of entertainment, right? It's cool stuff. Animal control officer. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Animal control officer. Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I bet you run into some pretty, or have at the very least in your time, have run into some pretty crazy, crazy animals. Hopefully not too many. He's growling because he heard you say, look at this. I love this. Look at all these, the drool and everything. And look at him wagging his tail. He was probably wagging his tail. Like, you probably wouldn't want him to wag his tail, right? But the dog was probably wagging his tail because he was, obviously the dog doesn't. It's probably like the dog's like, hey, yeah, fuck, you know. Yes, we're getting our first victim here. Come on, he's going after him. No, the poor dog. Oh, listen to that. That's very Carpenter. Like almost the fog a little bit. It's going. It's got like a tick. That's it. Very the fog. It's kind of cool. They're going, yeah. Yeah, you can tell that was the dog's handler there. Oh, they're doing a good job at cutting between the. He's going for the neck. He's going for the neck. I love it. I love it. Yes. Look at the dog wagging its tail there. That's cute. Darren says, Frank's a male stripper and part-time animal welfare officer. I thought Frank was a stripper. I did. I thought that. I thought there was, I heard that you currently are a stripper at the club Pounders, I believe. Just that's the name of the club. If anybody, they are a franchise. There's Pounders all over the world. Actually, Frank travels all over the world, and is one of their lead performers at Pounders. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank, the animal control officer, Riker, and that's his outfit. He's not really an animal control officer. It's just that's his stripping outfit. He goes up there. And he's in his, he's in his outfit and he's taking it off. Yeah, that's what's happening. Frank says, I had a baby ostrich in a bathtub when its owner died. I'm just laughing at Darren. Club Pounders. I had a baby ostrich in a bathtub when its owner died, who owned a petting zoo. Wow, a baby ostrich in a bathtub. Aw, I bet you that the poor little thing. Man, I love animals. I'm a big animal person. So it bugs the fuck out of me when people who have no business, it's the same people who shouldn't have children, have no business, adopting a dog or a cat or whatever, and then they just don't do it, and then they don't do anything. They keep it chained outside, or they're so like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, animals are not toys, people. You know what I mean? Like, you have to care for them, especially if you get a dog. It's like having a kid almost, right? Not exactly, but you know what I mean. It's relying on you. You can't just, it's not a toy. It's not just a thing you buy and you just sit in a room and you know what I mean? Anyway, fucking pisses me off. Yeah, Club Pounders. Frank says, I'm just starting out, Dave. The club's called Quarter Pound. Quarter Pounders. Instead of dollar bills, do they throw quarters at you? Is that how it goes? The change hits the table, or hits the table, the stage, or the table. Yeah, I guess that's funny. Ooh, there's the black rotary phone. Yeah, you hear that? It's very. I like it. I like it. Look at Cujo now. He's like, look at the blood. They would have had to put all sorts of shit on his face. Poor dog. Of course, if they made Cujo today, they'd just CGI the dog. That's the thing that I don't want. And to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you, okay? I don't think Cujo is a strong enough story where you need to remake it today. Like, I really don't. I think watching I know this movie's dated and the production value, you know, yes, it looks like an 80s movie and, you know, I get that. But there's absolutely no need to really remake, because what are you going to do that's better than this? You know, I mean, maybe you could flesh out the drama a bit, or, I mean, you could have crazy things that happen and you could up the ante, but I totally believe that if they were to remake Cujo today, it would be a CGI dog. I mean, if they're going to CGI the dog in Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford, you would just totally CGI the dog in a Cujo remake. I don't think to remake Cujo is necessary. Not to say that, listen, if I wasn't tapped to remake Cujo, that I wouldn't be really excited about it. I'd be like, yeah, really? I get to remake Cujo? Amazing. And I get it. I get that working with a CGI dog, you know, basically a fake dog, right? CGI, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to control. You don't have to worry about animal rights activists and PETA and just the problems that arise with working with a dog and an animal trainer and all that kind of stuff. I understand it. I really, really do. But we are not at a point yet where CGI dogs look real. You know, they look really good for like an animated movie. Like, not once, and I haven't seen Call of the Wild, but not once when I watched that trailer did I think that dog was real. And I don't think it was necessary to have it as a CGI dog unless you're doing stunts with it. Like, if you're, you know, yeah, I get that the dog leaping from a cliff onto a raft in the middle of a fucking river. Yeah, you're going to want to fucking CGI that shit. I get it. But with Harrison Ford in a room talking to a dog, there's no fucking need to have, there's no need to have that as CGI. It's unnecessary. It's like uncanny valley shit. You know, it takes you out of it, you know? Anyway. So it's catch-22. I get it. But I don't think Cujo would work as a CGI dog. Unless they get to a point where the dog looks fucking amazing. There's that. That's it. I like it. They get trapped. Look how messy, how muddy the dog is. Amazing. Quarters for the laundry machine after work. Extra sauce, Reese. Reese, hold the cheese, though. Darren Sand says, wouldn't it be considered cruel now? Would PETA be all... Oh, yeah, I was just saying that. That's funny. Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah, for sure. For sure it would. That's part of the reason why they just probably couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And I get it. I understand it. Frank says you wouldn't be able to sedate them now. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, there's a lot of logistics around it. But outside of that, I don't know if it needs a remake. Like, watching this movie right now, it's still good. Like, in terms of for what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that you couldn't. I mean, I get it. But I don't think anybody's clampering at the bit for a Cujo remake. That's a great cry. I really believe that he's crying. That's good stuff. Reese says some gymnastic guy motion captured the dog in Call of the Wild. Yes, I'm trying not to imagine Harrison Ford rolling around with dog during shooting. Yeah. And again, I get it, right? I mean, if you don't have to, but we're not there yet. We're not there to the point where I totally believe it's a real dog. You know, I don't. It looks like a computer-generated dog. It looks really good. Like, the effects are great. I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks amazing. But it doesn't look amazing to the point where it looks like a real dog. It just looks like an animated character, like you plopped him out of a cartoon. Maybe not quite a cartoon, but kind of. You know what I mean? Look at the shit they have on his face there. Poor dog. I mean, Jesus, that could be like butterscotch pudding. Probably is. They ran out of gas. That would suck. That would suck too, because there's no cell phones, right? There's no cell phones, you know? Oh, that's right. And I remember it starts to get really hot. Because aren't they in there overnight? I think they're in there overnight, and it's like the next day it starts to get really hot and sweltering, and because I think the kid's topless or something. See, they ran out of gas. There's enough gas, but even if you could, because sometimes depending on where you run out of gas, sometimes depending on where the gas sits in the container. Look at all that shit on the dog's face. Yeah, it didn't work. Or was it their alternator? Is that what that means? Maybe it's more than the gas. It's just shitty. Oh, Darren Sand says we could just use these guys for the remake. Yeah. Oh my God. What is this from? It's from the Mirror in the UK, but what is this? Rachel and Spot. Is this, it looks like some weird sexual game. That's what that looks like. Some weird sexual game. Oh my God. This young kid, you know, he's quite young here. What is he, like 5 maybe? 6 the most? He's a good little actor. I believe him. I believe him. Yeah, I don't know what that's from, Darren. That's hilarious. I say we do it. I say we hire her to play the Dee Wallace role, and we hire him to be Cujo. See, if you wait, yeah. Yeah, poor little Cujo. Yeah, there's the sun. I like that shot, actually, with the car, and then you see the sun in the distance. It's great stuff. No, is this sunset or sunrise? Looks like it could be both. That's a great shot, though. The dog in the foreground, the car in the background with the sun set, I guess it is. It's a great shot. Like the composition. It's a kinky thing, Dave. Brits got bored and locked down. Oh, yes, bored. Are you guys still locked down over there? You guys aren't locked down again, right? I know, Reese, you and in Australia, I think you guys are entering your, like 2 months now again or something? He's a great actor, Dave. The scenes with him hyperventilating are amazing, incredibly. Oh, he was. Absolutely. I should say, well, he was in the sense he's not a kid anymore. Yeah, he was really good. I totally believed him in this role. Solid performance all around. I was telling Darren, I don't know if you know, because obviously television can be different here, you know, and over there. But this young boy went on to star opposite Tony Danza and Alyssa Milano in Who's the Boss, an American sitcom called Who's the Boss. Maybe you've heard of it. You probably have. It was popular, but maybe not. I don't know. And he played the woman in Who's the Boss. He played her son. And that was sort of what he went on to do after Cujo, I believe. It's Billy calling. It's Billy. It's totally Billy. Cody Snyder says, looks like he could be a Lawrence brother. A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. I see what you're saying. Frank says, Cujo 2 starring Clifford the Big Red Dog. Why not? Reese says, yep, still in lockdown. The house and I have sort of a Shining thing going on at this point. Oh my God, I can only imagine. Listen, we're not in lockdown at the moment, but cases are rising again. And I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Isn't that Phil Collins? I can feel it. It's coming. Cases are rising. September's around the corner. I feel in another couple of months we're going to be in, I don't know if we'll be in lockdown, but we'll probably be in like curbside pickup again. It's like, oh, fuck. I just think we have to live with it. Open everything up. We have to live with it. We can't keep doing this. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We have to be sensible and learn to live with it. I don't mean to laugh, but it's kind of cute because you know he's not really rabid. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of cute, like his little dopey eyes, you know, and he's staring at her through the window. It's great. I love it. Darren says, we're out of lockdown, but cases and deaths are slowly rising and the vaccine is proving to be less effective than first thought. Yep, same here. Yep. Yep, especially against the Delta variant. The Delta variant. Delta this Friday. Theaters everywhere. Tom Cruise is the Delta variant. He's jumping on couches and everything. Yeah, it's the same here. Cases are rising again, just in time for the fall when the weather's cold and we all can stay inside anyway. It's like, fuck. We're in a blistering, actually, it probably, we had a massive thunderstorm here just before I went live, Darren, that knocked out the power. And I didn't think I was, because I had to push the show from 7 to 8, and then I didn't think I was going to be able to go on because the power went out. Luckily, it came back on. We had a massive downpour and a massive storm. And I think it was because of the humidity. It needed to break. So I think the humidity's gone a bit, but we're supposed to go back into another heat wave next week, I think. It's been really hot. It was a very wet and rainy spring, but it's been a pretty hot summer, like in the mid 30s in terms of Celsius. And then with the humidity, it's been like high 30s, sometimes early 40s, which is like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's been a hot summer here, which is great because living in Canada, you always know you're going to get, cold winters. So it's always nice when you can have a nice summer. Of course, the fall is coming, which is my favorite time of year. I love fall. Can't wait for fall. Cody Snyder says, oh, heading out, guys. Much love to all, of course. Hey, take care, Cody. Have a safe Saturday night, my man. Whatever you're doing, have fun. Stay safe. And thanks again for being a patron. Really appreciate it, buddy. Take care. Frank says, cases are rising in New Jersey, too, in time for Kills to be released on VOD. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep. Good old Halloween Kills coming to VOD. I don't think it's gonna be released. I don't think any movie, I don't think Kills will be released just in the movie theaters. I don't think so. I think it's going to go both. And at this rate, if things keep climbing, the theaters will probably be closed and I'll probably have my feet up and watching at home. I just hope it's not $30. I don't want to spend $30. I'll spend 20. Like if it's just me watching it, I'd spend 20. I don't want to spend 30 though. Don't make it 30. That's just dumb. Make it 20, which is like the price of 2 tickets. Like that I get. Because very rarely do people go to the movies by themselves. I've gone to the movies by myself before, and some people do, but I think generally speaking, you can always bet that there's at least 2 people buying 2 tickets. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you charge like $20, that's like 2 tickets. Yeah, that's a good gauge. I think that's fine. But I've seen some PVODs, some movies. I don't know I can't remember what they are now. Was it The Hunt? Maybe The Hunt was like 25 or something, or Invisible Man was like 30. It was some title was like 30, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. Forget what it was. And I'm really excited, Darren, to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. I mean, I understood there was a screening for it, and some people were able to see it at CinemaCon, I think. I think it was there. And great view, great reviews. Great reviews. I'm excited. Can't wait to see it. I'm pumped, baby. I'm pumped. It's probably my most anticipated movie. Well, one of them anyway. Halloween's up there too, but it just seems like, it's kind of obvious. Yeah, the phone now is like, the phone's getting to him now. It's getting in his brain. You can't take it. I love how they have the dog on the ground. They don't show the dog hitting the door. They show him, it's like POV, right? And he smashed right into the door, and then they show him just getting up from the ground, like knowing how it works. It works. You would just have him lie down and tell him to get up, and then it looks like he's getting up from hitting the door. It's smart. It's just, movie magic, right? Just how you cut it together. It's smart. It works. I totally believe it. He's biting the fucking handles off this car. It's intense. Frank says, remember when you snuck in your own refreshments to theater and heard all the soda cans being popped open? Yes. 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 Yeah, I still do that if I can. I will often, and it's always easier to do in the winter because you have your big winter jacket on, right? So you can stuff like, and my girlfriend will often have like her purse with her, or like a purse bag kind of thing with her. And, we'll often we'll go to the convenience store and we'll buy like a couple of bags of chips, and we'll just put them in her purse and take them into the theater. Cause I'm like, I'm not going to spend like, $13 I don't know if it's $13. I haven't bought popcorn in a while, but let's say $10 on a large popcorn or whatever, when I can just go to the 7-Eleven. There's literally a 7-Eleven down the street from me. I can go there and buy like a bag of chips for like, $1. You know what I mean? Or if there's not a lot, I can buy like 2 bags, you know what I mean? And it's like $2. So we still kind of do that. Or buy a can of Pringles, pop that in your purse or your coat pocket, whatever. And we sometimes do that too, because the concessions and I feel bad because it's like, that's how theaters make their money in a lot of cases, right? Is they rely on those concessions. But bring your fucking prices down. I'm not like, sometimes buying a popcorn and a drink is more than the price of the movie itself. In a lot of cases it is. And in some cases I don't even have anything. There's some cases, most of the time I go to the movies and I actually don't, or I'll buy candy. Like I'll go to like one of the, not vending machine. Well, yeah, I guess. Well, no, it's like a little thing you put a toonie. It's a $2 coin for those of you that do not live in Canada. Here in Canada, we used to have a $1 and a $2 bill, but our $1 bill disappeared in 1987, and they introduced the loonie, which is our $1 coin, and then the $2 bill became defunct in, I think, 1996, and they introduced the toonie. That's not really called. It's a $2 coin, but the nickname is the toonie, and it's a bit bigger than a loonie. And some of our machines here that you would put like a quarter in, sometimes you put like a toonie in, and you turn it, and then you put like a cup underneath. You know the kind of shit I'm talking about, right? And you get like candy or whatever. So sometimes I'll do that, and I'll take that because that only cost me $2 at the theater. But it's crazy. It's crazy how expensive the theaters can be. Yeah, we are at, where are we here? We are an hour and 6 minutes into the movie, not too much longer. Dee Wallace is opening the door. She's hoping to get out. I love all like the grit and the texture of the blood and the grime on the window too. Like that attention to detail is really nice. Seeing that grime and shit on the window. I love that. Darren Sand says, it went down a storm. People loved Ghostbusters. Yeah. I'm excited to see this. I can't fucking wait to see this movie, and I really hope I can see it in the theater, but something tells me I'll have to watch it at home. Reese Wilson says, Lord knows when we'll reopen cinemas here in Australia. I go into work once a week just to run the projectors, and it makes me sad not to be able to watch anything. Yeah, that sucks, dude. And is the general consensus there, like, again, you don't have to get, I don't want to get political, obviously, but is the general consensus there kind of like, yeah, like, we get it, but, there's got to be a better way. Like, we kind of have to, like, we can't be like this forever. It's kind of how I feel here. Like, I don't think, like, being vaccinated or having passports and all that, I don't think that's going to solve the problem. I still, like, I'm not saying it's not there isn't merit to it in some way, shape, or form, maybe, but I still think you're going to have a problem because people, like, yeah, I don't know. It's a whole thing, as we know, right? It's a whole thing, and it's hard to talk about without sounding like you're siding, and I'm not really. I'm just, I don't know what the fucking situation. Whoa! Ow! Oh! Oh, I forgot about this. Cujo's going ape shit. I forgot that Cujo actually attacks Dee Wallace here. He's going through the fucking neck. I love there's blood all over and everything and shit. It's great. Oh, he's in the car. I keep wanting to call this kid Jonathan because that's what his name was in Who's the Boss. But his name's Tad. He looks frightened beyond belief. This is an amazing performance from this. Look at the kid. This kid, this is fantastic. Oh, the crunch shit just quickly hit the fan. Shit hit the fan out of nowhere. We are going ape shit. Shit got real all of a sudden. We were just kind of coasting along here, chatting about the movie, chatting about life, and then all of a sudden shit just got real. I think it helps that the boy, and as weird as this sounds, I think it helps that the boy is actually topless and just in a pair of shorts because he's so slim. He looks that much more vulnerable. This is a great performance from him. I love how the camera's doing like a 360 here in the car. That's great. And it's doing like, so they would have set that up on and they're just turning the camera like around. I wonder if that would have been done I wonder how they would have done that. Well, this part here going fast, that would have been sped up in post. The camera itself wouldn't be going around like that fast. That they would have gone around at a, sensible pace, and then in post-production they would have sped that up. But I wonder, yeah. He senses it. He absolutely senses it. Darren Sand says, Dave, rent H Kills on VOD and invite 29 neighbors, charge $1 at the door. I should put up posters. I should put up posters in my neighborhood that I'm doing that. That's not a bad idea. I might be able to squeeze, I don't know if I can squeeze 29 people in my basement. That's a fair bit. But I don't think it'll be $30. I think my guess is it'll be like 20, maybe 25. 25, okay. Like if I invite Bruce over, you know what I mean? Maybe a couple other people, maybe, I don't mind doing that. I still think this guy's like a long-distance cousin of David Hasselhoff. Reese Wilson says, oh, yeah, there is definitely a general consensus here, Dave. Yeah, I think it's here too. But I don't know, right? There's so many people that are pulling for stuff. Next week, the premier of Ontario, which again is like the state governor, for those of you in the States, our premier is, I believe, going to make an announcement, something about, I don't know if it's COVID vaccine passports or if it's like some sort of thing that will be like that, because each province is doing their own thing. Like the province of Quebec has issued a passport. I think Manitoba is doing that. I think BC, British Columbia, I think they're doing it. But Ontario's kind of been like, our premier didn't want to do it, but I think the political pressure is getting to, it's so political. Everything's political about this. You know what I mean? And it's like, is it going to solve anything? I don't know. If you're vaccinated and you show your passport, then you can get into non-essential stuff. But if you're not vaccinated, you can still get in, but you need a negative COVID test. But the irony is that, but the people who are vaccinated don't have to show a COVID test. They just have to show that they've got the vaccination. But the person who's showing that they have the vaccination could still have it. And I'm showing that I don't have the vaccine or whoever, right? You know what I mean? And we all like, it's just weird, or is that how it works? I think that's how it works. Like, so if I show up and I have the vaccine, I'm vaccinated. So I show up and I show the passport. I don't have to show, I just have the passport. That's great. So I get in. And then somebody I'm with doesn't have the vaccine. They have to show a negative test. So they've actually proved that they're negative, but I haven't proved that I'm negative at all. I've just proved that I have the vaccine. So ironically, I could actually be carrying it and passing it, even though I have the vaccine. And the one who, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. Like, I get, like, it's just, I don't know. Is it really going to solve anything? I don't know. I feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like it's completely unnecessary. I feel like it's unnecessary. And I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist or some sort of like, I'm trying to really think of things logically. I'm doing my very best to try and really think of things logically. Like, is there, yeah, this is what Darren is talking about here. This scene is fantastic where he's hyperventilating. It's great shit. It's great shit. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few months with all these new rules and regulations that are coming in place. And for those of you that are watching after the fact, again, don't turn the comments section into a political thing, because I will just erase it. I mean, you can, I just don't want it to, maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, but I mean, it's in your face all day, every day, everywhere. It's hard not to sort of, kind of just vent about it a little bit and how frustrating it is that life is so disjointed. But I don't want the comments section below to turn into this, drama. So, whatever you decide to do, if you are somebody who is vaccinated, wants to get vaccinated, supports the passport, you're entitled to that. If you're somebody that doesn't and doesn't want it, you're entitled to that, of course, as well. I think there's arguments really to be made on both sides, and I think it's just an interesting time that we're living in today. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't feel it's necessary, but who the fuck am I? Just want some sort of sense of normalcy. Darren Sand says so many double vaccinated people in the UK are catching COVID right now. Yeah, it totally. And look at is it Israel? I think it's Israel has like somebody like 80% of the population are double vaxxed, and there's like thousands that are getting it. It's crazy, man. I just don't think the passport, this is just my opinion. I'm not trying to be conspiratorial for those of you that are watching after the fact. I just don't think I don't know what it's going to accomplish. I can understand it for travel. I can understand it for international travel. Like if I wanted to travel to the UK or if I wanted to travel to Africa or something, that makes sense to me. But for me to go to a movie theater or to go to a Blue Jay game or something, like I understand that you're with a lot of people and I get that. But that just seems, or to go to sit on a patio at a restaurant, it seems overkill to me. That seems unnecessary. Because you've always had to have a certain level of shots or, vaccines to travel, right? Like we've been vaccinated, when we were quite young. So you always had to have that, but I never had to have it. Like I never had to show a card to go to a movie, or to go to a game, or, it's very different. Like it's a very different set of circumstances that we're in now. And again, I don't mean to be political, but obviously I think we can talk about these things without, resorting to name calling and drama. It's just, it's a different time we're in. You know, it's a different time we're in. So if you do express yourself in the comment section below, just be mindful of that. Just be polite. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. I just don't want it to, you know, I should probably shut up about it so the comment section doesn't turn into anything. But yeah, I don't know what it's going to accomplish really at the end of the day, but you know, I understand it for travel. That I do get, because that makes sense to me. You know, I want to go to England. It's like, you know, I want to go to England and hang out with Darren. It's like, yeah, well, we want to make sure that you're not, you know, you want to make, you know, bringing something into the country, right? But to go to a movie, like, that just seems like, really? I never had to show my, you know, measles and mumps card or whatever to go to a movie. It just seems weird, man. It's fucking weird. I hate to say it, but it's weird. It's just strange. Anyway, Reese Wilson says, Christ, that's alarming, Darren. Yeah, it is. It is. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's scary. Personally, I think it's something we're just going to have to live with, but that's me. Again, don't take my advice. I'm just a fucking voice actor. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I love the car here. I love the blood on the car and the goopy shit on the car. Like, it's like, really, like, what the fuck? Like, all this, like, it just and the blood on the door. See behind the, I guess he's the sheriff or whatever, but you see that, like, the blood on the door where, you know, Cujo hit his head and shit. I love that stuff. Can't get his gun out in time. It's over, bitch. You're going down. You're going down. The cop here is fighting with Cujo. Now, Frank, I don't know if you're still in the chat room, Frank, but when an animal is rabid and they bite somebody, obviously now there's risk of you having rabies, but does that, I guess that doesn't, like, the virus doesn't leave the animal then. Like, it's still, like, the dog will forever be rabid until it's either given medication to fix it, or I guess if there is such a thing, I think there is, or if it's too late and it's just through the body, it has to be shot or put down, right? Darren Sand says, I flew to Spain and back last weekend and had to be tested 3 times. I'm also double vaxxed. Not one immigration officer asked for my proof of test or vax. Wow. Well, I guess it's not law yet, right? Or is it law yet? I don't know. So you had to be tested 3 times, but they didn't ask you to show your test. That's fucking weird. That's fucking weird, dude. I mean, it's not your fault, obviously, but it's like so many inconsistencies. And you flew to Spain last week. It sounds so exotic to us North Americans. You know, just flew to Spain last week and back. Not a big deal. Whatever. Just Spain. That's awesome. That's awesome. Frank says, I told Darren he needed to be quarantined before I record again with him. Yeah, that's right. Can you imagine? You're serious? Like, Frank, that's not how it works. You can get it through the computer screen. But yeah, there's a lot of inconsistencies. There's a lot of just shit that doesn't make any sense. I mean, I just hate to say it. And that's not a, you know, there are some people, like, yes, you do have far left crazy people and far right crazy people, of course. But there are good people in this world that have genuine questions. You know, there's a lot of questions that I have that I don't consider them conspiratorial. I'm trying to educate myself because there's so much shit that just doesn't make any sense, you know? And then I'm like, well, is that really necessary then? You know, why are we doing all this? Like, if it doesn't solve anything, you know, what are you going to do? Like that, I told Darren he needed to quarantine before. I just love it. It's funny. But yeah, I mean, Jesus, you could have been infected Obviously you weren't because you had the tests done, but you could have been. And they would never have known. They would have let you through. Wherever they shot this, I mean, I guess it's out in California, but wherever specifically this is, what was it? Santa Clara, I think is what Cody said earlier or something. Great, great location, really pretty. This almost looks like an episode of Murder, She Wrote. That one shot there, I don't know, just kind of the production value and everything just kind of looked like a Murder, She Wrote episode. Yeah, kudos to this kid. Cujo's to this kid. See what I did there? Talented actor. Especially when Cujo was like leaping into the car. And it was great. Like he looked petrified. Like I genuinely wanted to save that fucking poor child. Darren Sand says, I'm doing the next show in a hazmat suit. Well, you know what's funny? When I rented, when we shot the Indiegogo teaser for It's Me, Billy. So that was like the teaser that was part of our Indiegogo campaign. Maybe I told this. We had rented a Canon C100, which is what we shot on. So, an older prosumer kind of camera. We wanted to go we wanted to have a little bit more dynamic range than what we were working with on our own DSLR or whatever. But anyway, it's an older camera, but it did the trick. And anyways, I went down to VizTech in Toronto, which is a camera company here. And it was curbside pickup at the time because this is like June of 2020, right? So, we're right in the thick of it. And I pull in, like, I love that. All the blood there on the fucking door and the blood on her dress and shit. It's fantastic. Look at like her arm and stuff and the blood and everything. And she's got to get to a hospital because she's been bitten by Cujo. So she's got to get to a fucking hospital and get some sort of needle in her to take care of this shit. I love the look on his face here. He comes out, he's like, yeah, I know you're there, bitch. I'm going to fucking tear you apart, motherfucker. You see your leg and everything? But anyway, so I'm there and it's curbside pickup. So you had to pull into the parking lot, call the store, and then pop open your trunk because I paid for it over the phone and everything. It was already paid for. And they would come out and put the shit in your trunk. And then when they walked away, you could get out and look and see if everything was there, which is what I did. But when I'm waiting for them, and this is no disrespect to VizTech, I get it. They're a great company. But I'm waiting and I look in my side mirror and I see this guy come out, which looks like he's in a fucking hazmat suit. He's got the whole thing over him. The only thing that was missing was like, he comes out, he's got this big, like, duffel bag of like camera gear and shit. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like he could have just walked out in his shorts and a t-shirt and placed the bag in my trunk. Like I'm not outside, but he literally, that's what happened. Oh shit, I missed what she fucking did. Did she stab him? She stabbed the dog, right? I fucking missed it because I've been talking about shit. That's my sign. Shut up about that, Dave. But yeah, it was just funny. I was like, seriously, dude? He was wearing like the full fucking suit. And I'm like, holy shit. And he gives me like the thumbs up and then he walks away and I'm like, holy fuck. Talking about feeling contaminated. Can she not get to her son? She's going to have to break a window. I would have shot the dog in the head. And you would have done that. Like, if you were in this, that's the only thing. I understand you have to create drama. I get that. But I totally would have, you would have done that. She should have shot the window. Or maybe there's no bullets in the gun. Maybe I completely missed that part too. I can't remember. Frank says, correct, Dave. There is no cure, only a vaccine for preventing. Testing for rabies in an animal is through decapitation, checking brain fluid for the virus using a black light. Fascinating. Very cool. Very cool. Thanks for that info, Frank. And again, for those of you that maybe are watching after the fact, don't know, Frank is an animal control officer who deals with this kind of, not necessarily rabies all the time, but certainly deals with animals and in cases possibly rabid animals. And but no, I think it's such a commendable job. Like anything where you're making a difference in the life of a child, of an animal, of people, you know, like teachers, paramedics, police officers, firefighters, doctors, nurses. That doesn't mean there aren't, you know, shitty police officers or shitty you know, obviously, you know, there shouldn't be, but this is, you know, reality. Obviously there's always bad people, but the job in and of itself, I commend anybody who goes into that line of work to make a difference in the life of a child or an animal or people, you know, to help save lives and to help save animals. And it's great. I really mean that. He's coughing. Yeah, this kid is great. I forgot how good, again, I keep wanting to say Jonathan from Who's the Boss. I forgot how good this performance is. It's a really good performance. He's alive. That classic 80s like violin music. Yes, through the window, baby. Through the window. Yes. He's got the gun. Here it is. Here it is. PETA's all over this shit. Woo! Show the gunfire. Cut away to David Hasselhoff driving up. Driving up in his Jaguar. Run to the Jaguar, son. Look at him walking, too. He's got that strut like he's fucking knows business. Then he sees his car and he's like, what the fuck? I'd be like that, too. I'd be like, what the fuck? You got to get her to the hospital, man. You got to get her to the hospital. Oh, I missed this one from Darren. I'll read that in a second. This is such an odd ending, though. Do you guys agree that this is an odd ending to still frame on? I mean, I guess that really is the end of the movie, if you think about it. But for her to just, like, they come out, like, I think maybe there should have been more of a, it just feels like it. At the same time, I don't feel the movie ended prematurely. I feel the movie ends where it should end. I mean, that's sort of the end of it, right? The dog's dead. That's kind of it. But I almost feel like it's just an odd still frame to end on. You know? I mean, I guess we assume they got back together and lived happily ever after or whatever. But I'm not entirely convinced that, you know, yeah, I don't know. Did I read this? Darren says, you have to prove that you are negative and carry all the papers for immigration to let you Spain back in the UK. Everyone was just waved through without any checks. I paid £200 to test too. Wow. Jesus Christ. That's brutal. I wonder if they know that. Like, I wonder if somebody were to call them out on that, like if they could do like a news story on it. I don't know. Reese says, you flew to Spain for a weekend. Darren works for MI6. It's been confirmed. It's true. Totally true. He is. Frank says, I believe Dee said she was the most terrified when the St. Bernard was sedated on top of her and started to wake up. Oh, yeah, I can imagine that. But Frank, you know, you may be able to tell me this. St. Bernards by like, they aren't naturally, aggressive dogs though, right? Like, it's not like it's a pit bull. And listen, for you dog lovers out there, I know that You can have wonderful pit bulls out there. I'm just saying that there are certain breeds, and Frank, I'm sure you can back me up on this. There are obviously it's nature versus nurture. If you have a dick fucking owner, any dog, I'm sure, could be a fucking dick, and any pet could be a dick. But there are certain breeds that are probably more susceptible to certain behaviors genetically than others, is all I'm saying. And I don't think St. Bernards are like more like an aggressive breed traditionally. I don't think, but I can understand how that would be frightening because it's still a big fucking dog. It's still a big dog. When I was a kid, and my mother was married to this other man who was my stepdad for about 10 years. He had a Bernese Mountain Dog. They're gorgeous dogs. And the name of the dog was Bernice. Just called her Bernice. Thought it was a good name, I guess. She was adorable. She was a big dog, kind of like a St. Bernard. They're very kind of, they might even be from the same family. I'm not sure, but loved that dog so much. She was such a sweet dog. Frank says they're goofballs knocking shit over with their tails. That's what I thought. Because you look at Beethoven, right? Or you just look at them, their demeanor in kind of a general sense. You know, it's sort of, I think it is kind of like that. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole, I mean, it's a good movie. I liked Cujo, and watching it here for the first time, like I said at the beginning of the stream, in like 10 or 15 years, I mean, I do like it. It's one of the better Stephen King films. I don't think it's as good as, say, like Pet Sematary. But it's certainly not one of the bad Stephen King films, because there's certainly a few bad Stephen King movies, and it's definitely not one of those. So I definitely enjoyed this film for what it was. Yeah, it's still a good early 80s Stephen, like, yeah, it's not as good as Carrie, not as good as Pet Sematary. What other early 80s King movies were there? Was Night Shift a King movie? I think Night Shift was a King movie. I can't remember that one though. Night Shift, Monkey Shines. There were others, but Cujo's up there. You know, it's good. It's good. A little bit. It takes a while to get into it, a little bit, because of the drama between the characters. But when it's into it, like the best part of the movie is when her and her son are in the car, right? I mean, that's really the best part of the film. That's probably the film that most people remember. Like when most people think of the movie Cujo, I know I did. When most people think of Cujo, they probably think of like the last, 45 minutes of the movie. You know what I mean? Whereas the first 45 minutes are a bit kind of, they're all right, but you're just kind of, it's the setup, to care about the characters. And obviously the events that happened with Cujo, the fact that they nearly died, probably helped to rekindle that relationship between her and her husband. So, we'll see. But yeah, that's going to do it, folks. Saturday Movie Night, episode 30, Cujo from 1983. Want to thank everybody who was able to tune in, of course. Thank you for you guys watching after the fact. Really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel each and every month. It is greatly appreciated. Tony and I will be back this Monday night at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Patrick Anderson will be joining us. I got to email Patrick, actually, and make sure that everything is okay for that. Patrick, of course, one of the Indiegogo supporters for It's Me, Billy, picked up the Two Dudes perk, and he will be joining us, at least he's supposed to be joining us, on Monday's show. So that will be good. That'll be our first, it'll be our first show in 2 weeks. So looking forward to that. And those of you still in the chat, of course, Frank Riker, Darren Sands, Andrew Stevens, Cody Snyder was here, of course. Reese Wilson made it into the chat, of course, as well. Great to see you guys here. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys Monday, I guess. Monday at 6 o'clock. You guys are amazing. Thanks again, guys. You're awesome. If you're watching after the fact, comment below and let me know your thoughts on Cujo. Let's try to steer away from the shit we were talking about with COVID. Let's talk about Cujo instead of COVID. Let's talk about Cujo-19. That last part made no fucking sense whatsoever. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on Cujo, folks, from 1983. What's your favorite Stephen King movie? What did you think of this movie? Comment below. I want to know. Alrighty, guys. I will talk to you soon. Cheers.